It's only match day 3 of the new Premier League campaign, but we've already got the first clash to be dubbed a big one, as Jurgen Klopp's Reds welcome the Blues of Chelsea to Merseyside. There's nothing to separate them in the standings so far this season, other than the trivial matter of the alphabet. So who will lay down a marker this evening when the two 100% records are laid on the line? It is Liverpool versus Chelsea at Anfield this Saturday evening, a 5:30 kickoff. Our main coverage begins at 4:30 over on LFC TV. Hello and welcome along to our Matchday Live preview show, brought to you by our friends at Standard Chartered. Phil Thompson and Steve McMahon are my guests in the studio for this one. Gentlemen, the last 20-25 years or so, Liverpool-Chelsea's always been a huge fixture. Do you get a sense, Steve, that this season, this game already is particularly big, particularly significant perhaps?
Yep, I do, even at the early stage. It's not going to define anybody's season, put it that way, but it lays down a marker. I mean, Tuchel has done magnificently well, given he came in and won the Champions League, which is totally unexpected, I suppose. But he's turned, he walks the walk and talks the talk, Tuchel. He says it the way it is. He believes that Chelsea want to do certain things, and he tells them that. You know, oh, well, top four will be okay. No, he wants better than that. And I think that's why Abramovich likes him, likes his style. Players have took to him, his management skills, and he's done a very, very good job. This is a big test for both teams, though, as to where I think we were unbeaten in the past, 7-8 games? And that's a good test now for us moving forward.
Yeah, obviously that goes the results last season. This is the champions of Europe now. Chelsea, you know, they've become a big team, even bigger with Lukaku coming in. And I think he's done well, Tuchel, because I think he came in and he says, right, I need to build this, but I know I'm not going to score bags of goals. Werner's not going to score, Havertz's going to score, Mounts will get us a few. I do need a better one, but I need to concentrate on the back. I think he's had, 22 clean sheets out of 33 games that he's had in charge. Says where he's got his priorities lay. And he's built on that. And I think now Lukaku coming in to the equation, I think makes them title contenders. So it's a massive game.
You could tell he was ruthless, because when he first came and he left Mount out, and he realised, probably wrong, but he said everyone was calling him Lampard's boy, and he was the blue-eyed boy for Lampard. But he realised after a game or so that he was a good player as well. So he had to eat a little bit of humble pie, leaving him out, and everybody was playing for England. He then brought him in very quickly, and he's been a revelation as well. He runs the show a little bit, and he's done very, very well.
In terms of today, it's a step up in quality in terms of the challenge. We've already dealt with different types of challenge this season. Last weekend, it was Burnley, who can cause problems the way they approach things. Some things irked Jurgen Klopp. How impressed were you, Tom, with how we navigated our way through this?
I think it's been Burnley are always party poopers. You've seen them, they broke our run, if you want, of 68 games. That's what they can do. But that was an empty stadium, so they were big, strong, everything's going their way. Burnley can upset the best of teams. They don't do that. So the way we sort of eased our way through it was like the first game against Norwich. It couldn't have gone more perfectly. You know, just go with them early on. Get yourself, make sure you compete for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, quieten the crowd, score a goal, scored a couple of goals, keep a clean sheet. Everything went to plan. And the Burnley game, I thought, was absolutely excellent, because they can cause an upset at any given time. Long balls into the box. And I thought the boys absolutely were brilliant. And it was good. In second gear at the moment. But I have to say, so are Chelsea.
The positives across the first couple of games, apart from the results, not conceding goals, our forwards getting goals. Those are things you want to see early on in the season. It just gets them up and running on both ends of the field.
And Van Dijk coming back, he's a Rolls Royce, we know that, but this is a tough game for him. This is the biggest he's going to have for a while. And he's had the cigars out the first 2 games, which is good, because it's been like practice sessions for him, easing his way back in. But it won't be an easy way forward today. There's no two ways about it. This is a big ask. And Lukaku hasn't scored in 5 attempts against them. So he's got him in his pocket, so to speak, because he knows how to handle him. He can step in front of him, which you need to, because the big guy wants you to hold him. So he can turn you, he can make sure he wants on the right-hand side or the left. Van Dijk won't let him do that. He'll drop off him, he'll stand in front of him, and he'll cause them problems. He's physically strong. He can run with the best of them, Van Dijk. So I'm looking forward to this one as much as anybody, and I think it's most talked about.
Well, I can see that Van Dijk, Lukaku thing. I think Lukaku will try and play on Joel, thinking he's the weak link. Joel probably does it better than most. Anything 30 yards from balls being played up, he gets that big leg round and nicks it all the time away from people. So if he thinks Joel's a weak link, I think he's got something else coming. So if he is that good, and it's not often, he does like to run in behind Lukaku, but I think a lot of his players, this new Lukaku that we're seeing, is give me the ball to my feet. Now I'll turn, few people turn people. So it's important that they get somebody in front and stop the feed into his feet.
Yeah, he likes to be that wall, if you like, that you can bang it into him. But over the past few seasons, for me, the wall's been coming right back. Now he's cushioned. Now he's more controlled. Now he's bringing it down. Now he's got the 1 and 2 touch, and then he can hold it up enough to bring the other players into the game. Whereas when he was playing for Everton, it was just like bang, it was away, and nobody could even get up and support him. But he's learnt a lot since he's been in the city.
Yeah, he's an older, wiser, better player for his time over with Inter Milan. OK, well, Anfield certainly didn't disappoint last weekend for the first home game of the season. The atmosphere leaving us all desperate for more of the same after such a long wait. Not just a wait this week, Peter McDowell is there today for us, soaking it all in.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, guys. Welcome to Anfield, where it's blue skies, the sun's been cracking the flags, and the atmosphere is building outside, one of tension, as opposed to what we were probably feeling here last week, because the phrases that I've heard uttered already in and around the ground, and probably will have been in the pubs as well, is about a must-win game, when in reality it's probably fairly close to what you were saying, that both teams will be avoiding defeat at all costs in their mindset. But what a statement it would be should Chelsea, or we hope Liverpool, win this game here this afternoon. It's a squad that's hugely familiar with each other. It's a squad that is really newly committed as well. So many of those players who've signed new contracts now, and they have an embarrassment of riches amongst that quality squad, this Liverpool set of coaches, and Jurgen Klopp as well. So what does he do about the Andrew Robertson situation? He's never taken a risk on a player before. He's not going to start now, and he was fairly pointed in saying during this week that it wouldn't be a risk anyway. He's been training fully all week. He was in that squad against Burnley last week as well. So his selection, you would imagine, would be fairly straightforward, despite how well Kostas Tsimikas has done. And then what does he do in midfield? Does Thiago come back in, or does he stick with a Naby Keita, who's shown brilliant promise in the last couple of weeks? You would presume that Fabinho would come back in. You would presume that Henderson would continue. And then what does he do in that number 9 position as well? Does Roberto Firmino come back at the expense of Diogo Jota? Where Chelsea are concerned, Lukaku will play. That has been the battle that we're all talking about. And N'Golo Kanté, who's missed those first couple of games with an ankle problem, is likely to come into the starting lineup as well. It's going to be a white knuckle ride, I think, for the hour and a half that we're watching this game. And we'll give you the team news confirmed now before we begin.
Thank you, Pete. Yeah, in terms of the team decisions for Jurgen Klopp, one is that left-back position. Andy Robertson is back. He's back in the Scotland squad as well, so we expect him to play in the international break, which comes after this. But has Kostas Tsimikas done anything wrong? Anything to warrant being left out today, Tomo?
Absolutely nothing. Even on pre-season, LFC TV, he did the first 30-minute game that they played on, and he was absolutely terrific. Everything that you want. He's competitive, he can put his foot in, which I like. He's not just this nice player who can get forward at the right time, but his actually the timing of his run, I think, is perfect. I think he's got that spot on. So he is a big challenge to Andy Robertson. Robbo's fit, and it seems like he's had a full week's fitness behind him. He was sub last week. I expect him to play, because it's his position, as well as Trent. When Virgil plays, takes on a different dimension.
Yeah, Tom was making a case for Tsimikas there, but and you're right. But you sit down, you and Gerrard, when you're at Liverpool, saying you've got a decision to make, Robbo or Costa. There's only one decision you make, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Regardless of what he's been playing well or not.
But the fact that Tomo could even make a case there just shows we're in a better position this season. Whereas Costa perhaps last season wasn't putting that challenge in place. This season there is a credible option. So for League Cup midweek games, he's got variety there if he needs it.
Of course, you couldn't have even made a case last season. It'd have been straight in, Robbo.
Yep.
Or you'd have played Milner there instead, probably in a big game like this. But now you've got that bit of a choice and a bit of a dilemma. But having said that, come down to it, it's Robbo all day long, you're in.
But Tsimikas, Mackie, do you know what's great about it? the fans have really took to him. Last week, during the game, he got like a standing ovation.
And they've given him a song as well.
Absolutely, and I think the boy has proved, I am a good, and it's awful to say he's a good substitute for Robbo, and that's not bad. Robbo's proved himself to be one of the best in the world, but it shows the squad that's building up. It shows how he has matured Tsimikas. One, he couldn't get himself fit. Two, he never looked as though he was going to displace Andy Robertson. So now we've got some good choices.
Yeah, I think Kostas has dubbed himself the Greek Scouser. In terms of other decisions today, Harvey Elliott has been one of the bright sparks from pre-season as well, already in these first few games into the England under-21 squad, announced over the last week or so. Could he force his way into the reckoning today, Maka?
He could. Me personally, if I was making that decision, I wouldn't. I think you've had a fantastic full debut last week. Well done to you. This is a bit of a different kettle of fish, this one. This is tougher, stronger, and you need to be at it. And we don't want to put the knife into your education in terms of football, but it could. If he has a nightmare against Chelsea and he plays them, then it could drop him down the ranks a little bit. His confidence could be knocked. He doesn't need that at this moment in time. He is what I've wanted to see for Liverpool for a long, long time. That probing midfield player gets on a ball, very comfortable, confident. He's stronger than he looked, a lot stronger than he looked at the start of last season. And he's looking that way, and he's going forward, and he's got his tricks, and he's going to be a crowd favourite. And I wouldn't play him today, though.
No, I'm with Maka. I think it's too big a game, and I know sometimes they've got to play in that, but he still only made his debut last week. And to me, against this Chelsea side who are strong in all positions, all areas, I just think Harvey may not. He could throw that one in there, which he's done before, and gone with Harvey. Because what the boy does, Mac is right. You see a player coming along, you're 18, you take the easy option. This boy's taking the ball. We've seen it a number of times in good positions, great first touch, and then playing sometimes blind balls around the corner.
Reverse pass.
But it's forward. It's forward all the time, and it's a joy to see somebody. You make comparisons. Yeah. Jack Grealish, he just glides past people. I know it's hard, but at 18, when I was looking at Grealish, you could see that was the learning process. And you draw fouls all the time. You see that pass. He's got great low centre of gravity. Big future ahead for him.
Yeah, not bad to be compared to the £100 million man. OK, let's hear from the boss. Now,
Jurgen Klopp is,
as you'd expect, anticipating a tough game this evening. First, though, he gave us his reaction to Thursday's Champions League draw, which pitted Liverpool against some stellar opposition.
I laughed, to be honest, pretty loud, because it's a tough group, obviously. It's Champions League, so that's how it is. And you have to play the best teams in Europe, and obviously some of them are in our group. We have pretty much, we played I don't know how often already against Porto, so they will be waiting for us. We have obviously a little bit of open bill with Atletico, and yeah, AC Milan, a historical one, obviously, and so I think our supporters should be looking forward to it. We do, for sure. There is no, I know that people sit always at home and think, come on, that would be cool, like then you have this team together and the worst of top 4 and the worst of top 1 and all this kind of stuff. So, we didn't get that, obviously, but we're still pretty ambitious and would like to show, that the hard work from last year, qualifying for the Champions League, that it was worth it, and that's how we'll play the games.
Just moving on to Chelsea then, what type of game are you expecting?
A good one, an intense one, there's no doubt about that. Chelsea's obviously in a really good shape, full of confidence, won the Champions League last year. Anyway, they won majority of the games they played since Tuchel is there. And so a really, really good manager having a top squad is always a good mix, a good recipe for a successful season. That's Chelsea. But we play at home. We are in a good moment as well, and we want to use that.
Yeah, the thoughts of Jurgen Klopp, though. Let's start on the Champions League draw there. It's great to be back. It's great to have the prospect of Champions League games, as they should be, with the supporters back in. I was looking at the pots and thinking, who didn't I want? The only team I didn't really want was Atletico Madrid, so obviously we got them. What do you make of the group as an overall draw, Maka?
Wow. It's the best group anyone could have got in terms of highlights. And if you're going to go as a holiday maker, as well as the crowd do, and the Liverpool fans, Italy, Spain, and Portugal, beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. Everyone's been
away from the social aspect.
Not so good.
Away from the social aspect, from the football point of view.
Still good. You're a footballer, and when teams are drawn out, you're going, wow, yeah, absolutely. Give me a bit of that, and we're good enough to progress. We need a little bit of luck along the way at times, but AC Milan are not the team that they were, and the force that they reckon were in 2007, 2005.
Only played them twice in the Champions League, both in finals.
You didn't want them as the fourth draw. When you see that pot 4 and you go, AC Milan, who didn't you want? Them. And it just makes it that little bit harder. You wanted that little one where you thought, right, that's a good 6 points there, but this is not. And I was asking you, Mark, about the last game is against AC Milan away, which is always tough. Sometimes you can look at that one and you go, so we've got to make sure we do. As long as we can win our home games, you'll always put yourself in a good position.
Yeah, as long as you don't get, and the group says it, you can't get complacent, because the last game won't allow you to. Because if we need to go to Milan and having to win that to qualify, then it'll be difficult. But I mean, psychologically, you say no, we can't wait till the last game. We go and win a group stage early doors, and then you can
There's
have
no
that.
gimmies in it, is there?
No, you can have that as your
gimmies in
buffer, if you like, if you do the job right in the first place.
Yeah, the pots were strange actually in the Europa League and the Champions League. Pot 2 was far better than pot 1, and in the Europa League groups you couldn't pick. All the pots were basically the same. Just in terms of today, we return it back to the matter in hand. The title race as a whole this season, we've seen the business done over the last few days, Tomo. There's been some staggering transfers, staggering developments. Do you get a sense that this is going to be a title race that will go to the wire? There will be 3, maybe 4 teams who are involved to a certain degree.
I would imagine at this point now that there is going to be 4, which will push each other. You can see maybe Manchester City not having it all their own way. They spent that money on Jack Grealish, 100 million. And I think that's what Spurs have seen. Well, you only start bidding at 150, because if you're wanting one of the best strikers in the world, that is where. So they've balked at it. And I just think the 4 teams now, with the Lukaku coming in at Chelsea, I think makes them players. Manchester United have been getting better. There's still a little bit more to do. Sancho's a good signing. I thought they needed a bit of pace, bit of creativity, assists. And then you've got the likes of Varane at the back, specialist positions, and then wow, Cristiano Ronaldo. How do you make that work? I don't know. I think it's a bit of an ego thing for them that will boost them. People are saying he'll play centre forward. He doesn't like playing centre forward with his back to the goal. He likes playing either side and coming in. Always has done. I think it is a stunning signing, because he will give them goals, and that is where they can work. But there's a few flaws to it. He doesn't understand the high press, never been part of his game. So that'll be interesting how he tries to adapt to that.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to track back too much. John, we'll pause things just there. Plenty more to come from you guys, of course, a little later on LFC TV. We're done for the moment. Plenty more build-up to come, as I say, for you over on LFC TV and LFC TV Go on Matchday Live. We get underway at 4:30 p.m. That is followed by full live audio commentary at 5:30. John Aldridge is with Steve Hunter for that one today. Then I'll be back with Phil and Steve at 7:30 for all the reaction from Anfield. We hope to see you then. Of Tuchel's Chelsea coming to town. We will see you in a little while.